What's going on, guys? I'm back. Now I apologize, my lapel mic's not working today, so you might have a little bit of an issue hearing me, so you might have to turn it up. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about something very near and dear to my heart. I'm obviously a flashlight geek. Really like my flashlights, really like my good flashlights, have a purpose for some cheaper flashlights. Okay? One of the things that I think people really hasn't paid attention to, or people haven't paid attention to, is the fact that with the exception of maybe cell phones or computers, nothing has come up technology-wise so rapidly, and no market has gone so steadily as the flashlight market over the last 10 or 15 years. It used to be you had that little 90-degree flashlight that was a D-cell battery that the guys in Vietnam had or the guys in Desert Storm had. That was what every kid wanted. Nowadays, you got flashlights that will literally make the high beams on your car look like a bag of crap. Okay? Flashlight technology, 5 or 10 years ago, a Surefire pumping out 100 to 150 lumens was like the name of the game. Nowadays, 100, 150 lumens, I wouldn't even look at that when I go into a store. So flashlight technologies have come super, super far in the past 5 or 6 years. So check it out, guys. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I really had a story come to fruition that, or excuse me, not fruition, come to my attention, that really grabbed me. It made me realize that there are certain aspects of my life where somebody upstairs or something down in here or something in here has really kind of helped me and kept me going forward. And that situation was a couple of my colleagues were in the woods with I'm law enforcement, by the way. I don't know if some of you put that together. But a couple of my colleagues were in the woods, and the night prior, it was nighttime. There were 3 of them in the woods, and we were searching for a guy that had horns. Okay? So, as they're in the woods, they find a little campsite, and it's dark. I mean, really heavily wooded area. 3 of them out there, and they all had these, which this is a Streamlight Stinger LED, high lumen. Great light, okay? Puts out a good hot spot, tight beam. So the next day, my partner and I are in the woods in the daylight, and we're looking. Lo and behold, we find this guy. Draw down on him, get him in cuffs, bring him in the car, and I'm actually the one bringing him to jail. Well, long story short, as we're going to jail and we're taking the ride, this guy starts telling me stories about what my guys looked like, what they were talking about. Okay, now think about this. This guy's out in the woods. He's got warrants. This guy does not want to be found. He was close enough to hear what they were saying. Okay? These guys are in the woods. They're not running their mouth. They're not really chomping off. They're kind of quiet. They're talking. But they're whispering. And this guy was so close to them that at a whisper, he was able to tell me how old this guy sounded, which one of them was younger, which one of them was inexperienced, which one of them he would have tried. And that really dawned on me. Not which one was inexperienced, but which one he would have tried. Okay? He was close enough to them, all 3 of them with streamlights on. Okay? And not knocking streamlight, but just giving you perspective here. All 3 of them had one of these. Okay? And nobody saw him. He was within 10 feet. He said he was tucked behind a tree and he kept kind of going around the trees. They started moving around. But the flashlight didn't produce enough of a flood for them to be able to see that's where he is. So every time he saw that beam coming around, he was able to kind of game the system and go one side of the big tree and one side of the big tree and just kind of move around and keep his cover. So to me, that was kind of a rude awakening, that having something like this night walker, okay, which gives a spot and a flood. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a quick example just so you can see. This would be a spotlight, kind of like the Streamlight here, which is great. It's great for law enforcement, okay? It's got a tight hot spot, this being the Streamlight, this being the night walker. It's got a little bit of a brighter, larger hot spot, but it also has a flood. Now, if you see that initial burst on the wall, this has 2 emitters, 2 XHP 70.2 emitters, which are technically 4 LEDs put together in one spot. I don't want to geek out on you guys too much. But this one has multiple options. Now granted, which one are you going to keep in your duty belt? Which one are you going to keep on your car? There's a sure winner as far as what you're going to put on your belt, what you're going to have in your person, walking up to a car, you know, whether you tuck it under your neck, however you do business, that's what you're going to use. But having other options like this, great idea, okay? What do you use your flashlights for, guys? Are you one of those guys that relies on your cell phone? Because this right here, I'm sorry, like this is practical sometimes. This is bullshit, okay? This should not be your last ditch effort, okay? This should not be your, oh my God, I need flashlights, okay? Flashlights have come so far. This one right here, 280 bucks, 290 bucks. This one puts out 12,500 lumens. 12,500 lumens. That's ridiculous, okay? But it puts out a flood, and it puts out a throw. The Stinger kind of puts out majority of a spotlight, which is great. It's a great tool for law enforcement, okay? But let's look at some other options real quick while we're talking about flashlights. Super fast. I'm going to put this one in lockout mode because that's kind of just the way I do this one. I like to keep on my game, okay? I've got one of these Olight H2Rs, and this is a rechargeable, $78, $79, something like that. You plug a USB cord into it, okay? All you do is literally, it's magnetic. You just plug it in, it finds its cord, you're good to go. Charges up. This one can put out almost 3,000 lumens. It might be 3,000 lumens. It's like 2,500 lumens, 2,900 lumens, somewhere there. Don't quote me. But you basically turn this joker on. You've got your low mode, and this is a flutter. You got your low, your medium, your high, right? You got all three of those. But then if you notice, you've got this really, really, really bright mode. This is turbo mode, okay? Now turbo mode on these flashlights, for those of you that aren't a flashlight geek, turbo mode on this, turbo mode for 12,500 lumens on this, it's momentary, it's temporary, guys. Flashlight technology has done this, but they're producing so much heat to get that crazy amount of lumens that it's only a temporary thing. But even on high mode, this thing absolutely destroys in flood your Streamlight Stinger. Not because it's a bad light, not knocking Streamlight, guys, don't take this the wrong way. But you have to look at what tool is directed toward what direction. This one, I love having this. I keep one of these in my patrol car. I put it down on my shirt. I turn around if I'm doing a car search or doing something. I don't have to have an extra hand tied up. I'm not sitting here digging one-handed under stuff because I've got this put right on my shirt. It's good to go. It clips to your shirt. It's got both pins. It's good to go. You want to talk flashy? How about a copper light? I mean, Olight makes these i3 TEOS, okay? Awesome little light. Awesome company, by the way. Olight makes this little copper S2. This one's like 950 lumens. You get strobes on it. You get low, you get medium, you high, and you get your turbo as well. Okay, there's turbo mode. So you have options, guys. Not here to sell you guys on a lot of these different lights. Mainly here to sell you on the idea of you can pick tools now in the flashlight market that I never would have fathomed years ago. It's kind of like when I got into knives. I didn't realize that a $200-300 knife was a cheap knife. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could spend 5 grand, 10 grand on a pocket knife, 20 grand on a pocket knife. They're out there. Don't know if you know that. But it's no different than firearms, okay? You've got these different avenues you can go down, and you just basically have to get on the internet and drive down the road blind and find some of these lights, okay? Give you an example. This thing right here, people would think I'm crazy. This is my search and rescue light, okay? I have my little case here, but this thing will go 1,500 meters. It's mainly because it's got that very large reflector on it. But again, LED technology has come so far. Okay, so moving on, guys. We're going to look at a couple of these lights in a little bit more detail. Again, we're just kind of giving you guys an appetizer. Not really trying to make this a video where I sell you on one light or make you want to buy another light. But I'd like to get those creative juices flowing. The part of you that goes, man, I'd like to build another bag. Or I'd like to build another backpack that has a light in it, or this or that, or what happens if I'm on my motorcycle? What happens if I'm on my dirt bike? What happens if my car dies on the side of the road? We'll start off with that. Car dies on the side of the road. How about this little $25 Craftsman light, okay? This thing is like 1,000 lumens. On high mode, this thing will literally light up the room. When I say light up the room, when I had power out, this is what I was using. I had 2 or 3 of these things. And it has SOS beacons, so if I'm on the side of the road, I can leave this joker on behind my car. I don't get plowed by anybody. How about cool factor? Cool factor? Battery rechargeable. This thing can actually recharge your iPhone's battery. So let's say power is out, and this is the only thing, and the only thing you've got. You gotta have your iPhone cable, or your Samsung cable, whatever you need. But you can literally use this as a battery pack, instead of just a flashlight. That's cool. 25 bucks. You can't buy a battery pack that's good for that just to charge your phone. Oh, by the way, you get a 1,000 lumen flashlight and it lasts for hours. Even has a battery indicator. So if I open the back of this thing and I press that, you see those little LEDs? That tells me what percentage my battery life is at. 25 bucks. That's cool. How about something else? Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about one of these stream lights, okay? The cool thing about this is I've got one of these mounted in my patrol car, okay? And all you have to do is push it up against there and it clamps onto it and it charges on its own. So it holds onto the flashlight, keeps it in one spot, so it's always where I want it when I have to go and search a car, when I approach a car at night. Always got that Streamlight ready to go with me. And they're reliable, guys. Streamlight is a really solid company. So now I just take this thing off. It's always charged. It's ready to go. I've got lows, I've got mediums, I've got highs. But one thing I do like about this light is it kicks right on to high. I like high mode. I'd rather blind somebody with light than have to sit there going through modes. Some flashlights, some guys complain, they really wish they only had a low mode and then they had to ramp up. Me personally, my profession, just my preference, I'd rather blind somebody right off the bat with the light and then maybe have to kick it down a notch. If I turn around and click it twice fast, I've got strobe. Pretty cool, guys. How about another option? We get rid of the Streamlight. We've already talked about the H2R. This is one of my go-tos. Not only is it magnetic rechargeable, but it's actually a magnetic base, and it's pretty strong. So if you're working on your cars, working on a buddy's car, you can turn around, you can put this underneath it, and several of the Streamlights, or excuse me, the O-Lights now, have that magnetic tail cap. So not only does it recharge magnetically, but you can mount it onto something, okay? Chem lights. Do you guys keep some of these in your backpack? I know it's not electronic, I know it's not a flashlight, but these are a good option, guys. You can go to military stores, you can go to gun shows, you can find these things all over the place. And it might be a little bit expired, but if you have to go in an emergency situation, you have to go somewhere, you want to see how deep a hole is, you can't use a flashlight for that. $2 chem light, crack this thing, throw it down a hole. I'm not going down there. Throw it down a pipe, throw it down a really dark place where you're not really sure you want to go. See if you can throw a chem light down there. Get some light on in this situation. Okay? Downsize the flashlights. You kind of got to dive in face first. Okay? These higher power flashlights, they use what's called an 18650 battery. Basically, it's larger than a AA. It's smaller than, well, it's kind of hard. Maybe the size of a cigarette lighter. Okay, and they're kind of expensive. Sometimes you can get deals on them. You go to websites like Banggood, you go to websites like Battery Junction. You can get pretty good deals on them. But it's kind of one of those, you know, you invest, you kind of have to fall in face first. Yeah, the initial purchase sucks a little bit. You need a good charger like one of these X-Tors. Okay, I use it in my case here. This one's USB rechargeable. It recharges 4 18650s at a time. It recharges them safely and it recharges them at a good pace. So you can see, hey, you know, I'm going to have to jump these off the charger soon, but they won't overcharge your batteries, which is pretty cool. Okay? But you kind of have to dive in. You make that initial purchase, and all of a sudden you've got a really good, really quality flashlight. If you don't want to do that, flashlight technology still comes super far. You can get a little CR123A rechargeable flashlight, or you can get just a regular CR123, which is just your old school 123 cell. You can buy these things for like $1, $2 a piece if you buy them in bulk. One more option we can look at, you've got your old school mag lights, you got your old school D cells. Even these mag lights are going to LEDs now, guys, okay? They're still focusable, they're still a mag light, they still got that cool setup where you can spin it one way, spin it the other way, and you get a focused, intense beam, or you get a little bit of a wider spill. That's going to come into play, okay? So nowadays, you've got all these different options. You've got all these different lights. You've got all these different manufacturers. It's come so far that they're kind of splitting hairs between what they're going to do. But you can go different directions. You can go where you get, this one is a Astra Lux, okay? MF01. This thing puts out an incredible amount of lumens. It's got 18 LEDs, 4 18650 batteries. This thing will completely light up your backyard. Again, turbo mode, but even on low or medium, this thing will absolutely crush anything you have in your house if you're not a flashlight geek. So it's 2019, guys. You've got all these cool weapon lights, but what have you done for your flashlight game? I'm the guy at work that my captain makes fun of me, my corporal makes fun of me. Everybody kind of just giggles like, oh, why do you have so many flashlights? But you know what? When we're out there and I turn one of these bad boys on, they're like, dude, Where'd you get that? How'd you get that? Thing's badass. There's a reason for it. Because most people don't really look at flashlights as something they want to upgrade. You've got one that works, you walk around your house with it, you maybe keep it in your car, oh, and by the time you go to use it, your battery's dead. This is a new way to look at life, guys. Okay, 2019, I dare you to post in the comments below, name one thing, once you look at some of these flashlights and what they're capable of, that is advanced technologically, faster and farther than flashlights over the last 5 or 10 years, even 20 years. I dare you to tell me something. So what are you going to take from this video? I hope that you go and look at Olight, you look at Nitecore, you look at ThruNite, you look at Astra Lux, you look at Craftsman, you look at all these different companies, you look at Optronic for batteries, you look at Panasonic batteries, go to Battery Junction, go to Banggood, go to all these websites and really immerse yourself in some flashlight culture. Okay? There's great resources like Candle Power Forum, there's Budget Light Forum, you can even go on eBay. But one thing that I do want you to realize is just like the knife market, just like the firearms market, you actually can get your money back out of flashlights. They actually hold really good secondary market value. So just because you drop $200, $300 on a flashlight, it doesn't mean you're throwing that down a hallway. You can actually get that money back. Matter of fact, those two Astra Luxes that I showed you in this video, okay, both of those were a trade from a light I paid $300 for about 5 years ago by Nitecore. It's called a Tiny Monster TM26. Great flashlight, holds its value. I got two brand new Astra Luxes in trade for that. You know why? Because it's a badass light and it's got secondary market value. So don't necessarily look at these like, man, I'm not paying $400 for a flashlight. It's almost like having a lease on a car, buying a car. Just because you paid $32,000 for a car doesn't mean you literally lit $32,000 on fire. Flashlights are the same way. It's kind of like guns. It's kind of like knives. It's in a market where nowadays the guys like me are always going to see value in a flashlight. Because to me, having that guy in the woods, having a situation where I've got to go somewhere and I'm really not sure what's out there, I will not ever hesitate to drop serious money on a flashlight. Because what's $200, $300 if it saves my life? What's $200, $300 if it keeps my partner safe? What's $200 or $300 if when my power goes out, I can get to my generator and not lose a refrigerator full of food? What's $200 or $300 if a bunch of coyotes don't eat my dog in the backyard? I mean, there's all kinds of different ways that I can justify it. Now, if you can't justify it, I understand that completely. There's still options for you. There's companies out there, and I can recommend some of them. If you post in the comments below, and you're specific, and you show an interest, and you genuinely want to find a flashlight, if you give me your budget, I can recommend something for you that will probably blow your mind when you really push comes to shove. Okay? If you say, man, Rob, I've got $1,500 to spend on a car and a flashlight. Maybe I can recommend you something. But if you say, hey, I've got 50 bucks, 60 bucks, 20 bucks, 400 bucks, this is what I want. I want to reach out and touch somebody 150 yards away. I want to be able to see every detail on their person. Or I want to spot raccoons in the backyard. Or I want to be able to see my entire football field lit up at night. Because if the kids go out and play and they shut off the lights, I'd love to be able to just go out there for a few minutes and let them throw the ball around. I can recommend you something for any budget. If it's something that you're serious about and you legitimately want to upgrade your flashlight game, 2019 is a great year for you. So at the end of the day, if you look at what you're getting flashlight-wise, you can always get something for your money.
Oh, God. Not this again. Look at me, mister. I need 58 flashlights in one day.
So there's a couple different manufacturers you can look at. You can always start out with Olight, Surefire, Streamlight.
40 flashlights. What a douche.
Really?
Douche. You only need 2.
Oh, bullshit.